Okay, so we are discussing about 25th G20 Nation Summit that is scheduled in Johannesburg. Johannesburg is capital of South Africa, and 25th G20 Nation Summit is happening. We have already talked about it. We will talk more on it. What is G20 Nation? That is very important to understand, especially from Indian point of view. What is G20 Group of Nations? G20 Group of Nations started in 1999, where there was some turmoil in global economics, and to make it stable, global economics stable, the few countries they formed a group of countries called G20 nation. G20 nation, it was a group of primarily this summit used to be attended by finance minister or foreign minister of the country. Since 2008, the prime minister or president of the country they started taking part into G20 countries, and then in 2023 in New Delhi summit, then African Union also become part of it. Otherwise, European Union was part of it. So European Union and I believe 19 countries or whatsoever G20 country, they formed an organization in 1999. Why this organization was formed? This was formed because to make the global economy stable. What is global economy? How it will be stable through G20 countries? That we will see now. Okay, so I have documentation on G20 nation, and we will see how Indian Prime Minister since 2008 only, how he is fooling Indian people in the name of G20 nation. If people remember, some time back Indian Prime Minister was in Canada, and news everywhere surfaced that Indian Prime Minister is going to attend G7 country. Everyone understood that India is like seven superpower in the world, and that's why it is going. This is how they falsify people. And he was in Canada, and he was treated like, well, I should not use this kind of word in the while talking. How he was treated, that American president, he did not want to meet him at all. Without meeting him only, he came back to the White House, and he invited Pakistani ISI chief and military chief there. But he did not meet Indian Prime Minister. Indian Prime Minister was there in G7 meeting. What is meaning of going from for Indian Prime Minister in G7 meeting? Without any reason he was there. Anyway, now what is G20 group of nations that we will talk? Now India hosted G20 nation summit in 2023. 2025 Indian Prime Minister is running to Johannesburg. Now everywhere news is surfacing in the government media or everywhere. Indian Prime Minister is going to attend G20 nation. India is part of G20 nation. Now everyone starts thinking G20 means the top 20 greatest economy in the world, in which India has also entered, and he is going to kind of attend that meeting. Means India has raised to top 20 economy in the world. Now I am going to tell the reality of G20 nation. What is G20 nation? Why it was formed in 1999 with set of countries which could have stabilized the world economy. How G20 country can stabilize the world economy? Indian people, their head will bend in the same. Everyone's head will bend in the same. The way Indian Prime Minister and these people, they are cheating Indian people in the name of G20, G7, and this and that. It looks like people are dying to see India enter into G20. With luck, nothing happens in the world. If Indians do not invent anything, there is no invention award in India. There is no production in India as far as electronic sector and these things. All are foreign companies only. How country will enter into anyway? Let's see uh, who are the G20 nation countries. I'll read it out again. It is Argentina, Australia, Brazil, Canada, China, France, Germany, India, Indonesia, Italy, Japan, Mexico, Russia, Saudi Arabia, South Africa, South Korea, Turkey, United Kingdom, United States, European Union. Primarily. If I see here, then there are two set of countries here. One set of countries are called G7 countries. Full G7 country is available in G20. And other set of countries are poor countries or developing countries. They are nowhere in match to the G7 countries' wealth. When G7 countries were formed in 1970, they had 70% of the world wealth was with G7 countries: Japan, Italy, Germany, France, United Kingdom, Canada, and United States. 70% of world wealth was only with these small countries. Only America and Canada is big in size. Otherwise, all are very small countries: Italy, Germany, France, England, and Japan. But 70% of the net, if I talk about the population of this country, then how much they would be? They would be, I believe, hardly 50 to 60 crore only. Not or they are not even 5% of the total population. 5% of the total world population, they had 70% of the wealth. Okay, now when day by day their wealth was accruing like anything. So primarily they formed this G7 nation to float a new kind of loan mechanism called World Bank International Monetary Fund. They established, and they started giving a loan to the developing country or poor country. And their companies like American US aid program, United States Agency for the International Development, under the banner of US aid program, the countries who were receiving the loan through the World Bank, they were going there and they were doing the infrastructure development out there. More or less, they were earning more through the World Bank International Monetary Fund. This is what they started doing. This is called in cycle or runaway. This is how they started behaving the world. Anyway, in 1919, in 1991, when Soviet become got disintegrated in 1991, then there are many countries which opened their market who were along the Russia, along the Soviet Union. When Soviet Union become a weak country, then many countries they opened their market for these countries' companies. This was called era of liberalization. So 1991, era of liberalization started, and in that arena, many poor countries they opened their market door to these foreign countries companies. One of them was India also. One of them was Brazil also. One of them was Argentina also. One of them was Indonesia also. These are poor countries. One of them Saudi Arabia also. One of them South Korea also. They are not part of G7 countries. These are very poor countries. But they opened the gate towards these 7 countries company. You can come to us, you can invest here. Okay, now two kind of countries got formed after 1991. One is producer country, one is consumer country. Consumer country has lot of, China is also one of them. China is poor country traditionally. China is also one of them which opened its door for the foreign country. These country, these G7 countries company, they start investing into this poor country. Okay, their population was high. Brazil 25 crore, India now highest populated, China highest populated. Population was high, labor was cheap. So foreign companies they entered G7 countries, they entered these countries and they start investing there. A new kind of hybrid model started coming into the picture. A new word came as a developing country or the country with the liberalization and those kind of things. If I read out the name, then there are two set of countries here. Argentina, poor country, invested. Australia, poor country, invested. More or less. Few people are white people and they are rich. Otherwise, Brazil, poor country, invested. Canada, G7 country. China, poor country, they invested. France, G7 country. Germany, G7 country. India, poor country, invested. Indonesia, poor country, invested. Italy, G7 country. Japan, G7 country. Mexico, poor country, invested. Russia, among the G7 country only. Russia was also, now yesterday news came that Russia is part of G7 again. So now it is G8. Russia is also among them. So I can say Russia a G7 country. Okay, South Africa, poor country, invested. Saudi Arabia, poor country. Only oil is there, otherwise there is no electronic industry. Poor country, invested. South Korea, poor country, invested. Turkey, poor country, invested. United Kingdom, G7. United States, G7. European Union, more or less G7. Means The now in 1999, when there was a economic shutdown, economic slowdown, then this producer country, who were the producer country, G7 country, along with the country where their companies had invested into, they made a bond saying G20 country. G20 country means whatever I am producing, please buy it. If you see any other country in the world except G20 country, they don't have much investment. Pakistan, no investment. Afghanistan, no investment. Burma, no investment. Thailand, no investment. Okay, like so. Turkmenistan, Uzbekistan, no investment. Egypt, no investment. Investments from these G7 countries are only in these countries in the world: Brazil, Argentina, Mexico, South Africa, China, India, Indonesia, South Korea, Saudi Arabia, these kind of country only. So the G7 country and one by G7 country, I can name like this. If you multiply, it becomes one. G7 into 1 by G7, if you multiply, it will become 1. The producer country and their slave country. This is what I would say. The producer country and their consumer country. If someone goes to Pakistan, there is no much about the foreign company out there. People live their own life. If someone goes Afghanistan, there is no. But in India, Indian government deliberately since 1990, 2004, Manmohan Singh government came, and there was a department called disinvestment, government disinvestment department or something like that. Their main job was to crush down all the government companies and give a path for the foreign companies. And in GST 2016, they crushed all the local companies also. Okay, to give the path for the foreign companies. These are the idea behind G20 group of nations. G20 group of nations, the group of countries which produce item and group of country which consume the item. These are populous countries, and their main job is to crush down all their local companies to give path for. That's why global economy will become stable. If global economy was unstable in 1999, means whatever product these G7 countries were producing, they were not being purchased at that time. Who will purchase that? Population will only purchase that. And they formed G20 group of nations with all the country who can purchase their product. Okay, in the name of liberalization and this and that, they established the market in these poor countries. And these poor countries, government, their responsibility was to crush down all the government companies and the local companies so that their foreign product would enter. If local production is zero, then what people will do? They will buy foreign products only. This is called G20 group of nations. You see the Indian Prime Minister. He is dancing like what I cannot use these words on here. He dances like anything. Sometimes he will be in Indonesia, sometimes he will be there. Now in Indonesia, Joe Biden has given the India to take the leadership of G20 nation in 2023. He actually organized G20 group of nations summit, and then now it is going to South Africa. You are proving that you are a dog. What else you are? Means you are only to get feeded. Your master will give you bone in your mouth, and then you are swinging your tail in front of him. This is G20 group of nations. Their job is that do the summit every year and then forcify these poor countries to demolish their market, demolish their local company, and then buy our product. This is G20 group of nations. But this is the bitter truth. To how long we can hide about this? Because of G20, if someone is watching since 1999, that was I believe Atal Bihari Vajpayee. Since then only disinvestment has started. I believe Arun Shori and these kind of people were disinvestment ministers. Their job was to crush down there were many good Indian government companies were there. They were producing a lot of item in India to shut down those companies in favor of foreign companies. That was their job. This investment minister and this and that. 1999 only it started. This is what, and in that aim only GST and these were brought in to crush the Indian company. This is called G20 group of nations. Indian Prime Minister is dancing in Johannesburg, and there he would be doing same. how to crush more, they would be showing this G7 country, now G8, Russia also. They would be showing that this is what you have to do in next 1 year, and they would be fulfilling their dream. This is what how it is. Anyway, what is the aim of G20 nation? I'm reading it out. International financial stability. This is financial stability. If I produce, then someone should consume it. Okay, climate change mitigation. These and sustainable development. Understand what's going on? Okay, whose development should be sustainable? Okay, G20 group of nations has always been criticized for its limited membership. They are not including more members. Why they will include Afghanistan and Pakistan when local people they don't like foreign companies? Why they will include those? They will include only those countries where these G7 or G8 country can sell their product. Anyway, lack of enforcement power. Okay, means lack of driving power. This is what they call. Anyway, initiative aimed at the international coordination of economic policy, which include institutions such as Bretton Woods twins, the International Monetary Fund, and the World Bank, and what is new, the World Trade Organization. Means what is the another aim of G20 nation is initiative aimed at international coordination. Coordination means we will push money in the World Bank and International Monetary Fund, and you take it as a loan, and we will keep earning the money. Anyway, now let's see who is not participating into G20 nation. Now, in G20 nation doesn't look like it is going to be very successful. Doesn't look like. Okay, what is the reason behind it? That is the another question. The reason behind it, if I see all the country who are not participating, means their head of the state is not participating. Argentina, their president or prime minister is not participating. Foreign minister or finance minister, he is participating. Same is with Russia, Putin is not participating. Same is with Mexico. Okay, madam, who is president of Mexico, she is not participating. United States, altogether, no one is participating. Okay, no representative. From China, Xi Jinping is not participating. And then Premier of the China, that is Mr. Li Qiang, he is participating. So more or less the three bigger power here right now in the world, China, Russia, and United States, they are not participating. Why they are not? From United States, no one is participating. And then United States is busy in bringing Russia to the G8. Means looks like there is some unbalanced has happened since 1999 when G20 country was formed. Considering that this is a balanced group of country, now it is moving toward unbalanced group of country. There is allegation that there is no driving power behind this G20. Problem is China was a poor country, developing country, a country which saw the investment through the G7 country. Now China itself is the most richest country. It has maximum. The world right now, the total export of the world is $30 trillion. Total export. Only China export is near to $4 trillion. Around 12%, 13% trade, or 15% total export of the world is with China only. China was consumer till 1999. Now China is producer now. Every equation of the world is completely changed because of the sudden rise of China. Sudden rise of, that's why Chinese president is not going there. Because the main idea of G7 nation is changed now. Now G7 country, which has 70% of wealth, they do not have even 50% of the wealth now. Wealth is now going towards China. 15% of the world export is going from China only. Okay, how you say like that? In 2000, not 99, in 2000, China export was near to $250 billion or $350 billion. Now it is $4 trillion. In 25 years, China has grown their export to more than 10 times. Can someone believe how many countries are there? They have made their export 10 times. If I take normalized manner, if I take all the country percentage wise, see that this country in 1990, just 10 years back, China's export was $60 billion. Can someone believe on this? In 1990, China export was $60 billion. In 2000, $200 billion. In 2025, $4 trillion. Means from 2000 onward, China has completely inverted, and it inverted the G20 and G7 concept also. Now G7 organization is there, but wealth is not with them. G20 nation is there where there are two groups. One is wealthy country and one is poor country who is ready to accept the product of the wealthy country. Afghanistan people are not ready to accept the G7 nations product into their country. They have no focus on Afghanistan, Burma, these are a military ruled country or communist country. Okay, but in the consumer country, this is producer G7 country, in G20, in consumer country, only China turned the biggest producer country, and it came to such an extent. Now this is becoming heavier because of China. Means full balance is gone. These people are now no more highest. They are producing, but they are not able to sell their product in the market. American electronics companies are getting beaten everywhere in front of Chinese electronics company product. American electrical vehicle are getting beaten by Chinese electrical vehicle everywhere. American mobile, that is Apple mobile, they are manufacturing in China only, and only it is in hand of only rich people. Otherwise, all the 80% of the mobile phone around the globe are Chinese mobile phone. No one would have dreamt about it in 2000 era. Siemens, Nokia, Ericsson, Motorola, okay, Lucent, and then one Canadian company was also there. So many Nokia, these companies were looting the world. Now no one is there. Absolutely all gone in the water. Only Chinese company. This may it, if anyone remember 2000 era, mobile were either Ericsson mobile or Siemens mobile or Nokia mobile, Alcatel mobile, Lucent mobile, Motorola mobile, and there was one more company from Canada. These kind of miss all mobile were from these G7 countries only. Now all mobile are from China only. This much it changed. Now what is meaning of G7 country? When G7 country products are not coming in India, maximum electronic products are being sold out from China. But the real concept is that it should be from G7 country. That is the main idea of G20. But all products are getting sold from China. Means G20 country is now unstable now. That this is what the comment is coming. The driving power is missing now because driving power is they are no more the best selling. This is what the G20 nation. Okay, India should learn from China. This is what I would say. Should learn from China. The way they change the world equation, India should also work toward it. Indian people should work toward it. They should be more patriotic now, and they should now go only for vocal for local, so that local product, once they are being purchased by Indian people, their quality will go up day by day. Once money will come in the hand of these companies, then they will increase their quality. Who knows? Tomorrow, Indian product will defeat Chinese product.